Hi, friends. This is the book that I got from the assembly we had a couple months ago. This is the fourth Wayside School book, and I thought I would share some of the chapters with you. Today, let's start with the first one. So this is Wayside School Beneath the Cloud of Doom by Louis Satcher, illustrated by Tim Heitz. Chapter 1, The Bells of Wayside. It is very important that the children at Wayside School know the bell system. The first bell in the morning sounds like this: whoop, 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 whoop. When they hear it, they know they have 16 minutes to get to class. That's not too difficult for those in Mr. Hardgrove's class on the third floor. But Wayside School is a 30-story building with one room on each floor. So for those who happen to be in Mrs. Jules's class, way up on the 30th floor, they must be ready on the first whoop. Todd was in Mrs. Jules's class. He was stuck behind a mass of kids outside the building waiting for the doors to open. He jumped up and down, trying to see over the heads of those in front of him. If he was late, Mrs. Jules would put his name on the blackboard under the word discipline. The kids who went to class on the lower floors often dilly-dallied. If Todd got stuck behind a large group of dilly-dalliers, he'd have no chance. Inside the principal's office, Mr. Kidswatter sat behind his enormous desk as he watched the clock. At the moment the second hand reached the number 12, he shrieked into his microphone, "Whoop, whoop, 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 whoop." The doors unlocked and the children stampeded into the building and up the stairs. Todd tried his best to weave his way to the front, but there wasn't a lot of room. 8 minutes later, Mr. Kidswatter tugged on the rope hanging through the hole in the ceiling, and the second bell rang. Clang, 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 clang. Todd counted the clangs. 8. That meant he now had 8 minutes to get to class. 7 or 9 clangs would have meant something completely different. 7 meant a helicopter was landing on the roof. 9 clangs meant a porcupine had entered the building. So far, he had only made it to the 7th floor, but he had finally managed to weave his way past all the dilly-dalliers. There was nothing to slow him down now. When he reached the 18th floor, he heard this sound: ching-a-ling, ching-a-ling, ching-a-ling. Nothing to worry about there. That just means they were out of donuts in the teacher's lounge. The scary bell was the late bell. It didn't matter where he was. It always sounded like an angry driver was slamming on a car horn right behind him. It made Todd jump every time. He quickly dashed from the 18th to the 20th floor. There was no 19th floor. His legs were sore and he was breathing hard as he reached the top. Just ahead, he could see Joy entering the classroom. "Don't shut the..." Todd shouted. Joy shut the door behind her. "Guzak," said Todd. He was just opening it when the horn blared, as if right behind him. "You're late, Todd," said Mrs. Jules as he entered the classroom. "Right, you're..." "I know," he said. He wrote his name on the blackboard under the word discipline. Other bells rang throughout the day. At noon, the lunch bell kaboinked 3 times. 3 kaboinks meant macaroons and cheese. The bell for recess was just a single ding, but nobody ever missed it. At the end of each day, Mr. Kidswatter would bang a giant gong with a large iron mallet. It was his favorite thing about being principal. Todd sat at his desk, glumly looking at the blackboard. The day had started off badly for him and had only gotten worse. There was now a check mark next to his name under the word discipline. Next to that, Mrs. Jules kept adding new homework assignments. Read a book, write a book report, draw a picture. Don't forget your paperclip. History. Read pages 55 to 59 and answer questions on pages 61 and 62. Math worksheet. Do even and odd numbered problems. Science. Read pages 29 to 34 and do experiment on 37. Todd had a sick feeling in his stomach, and it wasn't just the mac and cheese. In big letters across the top of the blackboard, Mrs. Jules had written, "Ultimate test starts tomorrow." Mrs. Jules had been warning the class about the ultimate test all year. The test would last for 3 days. If he failed, Todd would be sent back to kindergarten. And then he heard it, the most magical bell of all. Ping pong! This bell had only rung once in the history of Wayside School, and nobody knew who rang it. But everyone knew what it meant. All around, kids began cheering and clapping their hands. Shouts of joy could be heard coming from every floor of Wayside School. Todd just sat there in stunned disbelief. It rang again. Ping pong! It was the erase the blackboard bell. Mrs. Jules had no choice. She picked up the eraser. Up and down Wayside School, teachers were doing the same thing. Todd Todd smiled as the homework assignments were wiped away. The ultimate test was canceled. His name was removed from the discipline list, and even the word discipline soon disappeared. Deep in the basement, a man with a black mustache snapped open a black attache case. Another man, also with a black mustache, placed a small silver ball into the case. A third man, who was bald, put in a solid gold ping pong paddle. All right, that was chapter 1, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're doing well. Let me know if you like hearing these, and I'll continue reading some chapters for you. All right, bye, guys.